Hello, everyone. My name is Yusuf Hashim. I'd like to share with you a personal perspective of living life. I hope it will help you to reimagine your own life. You see, life is short. Time is very, very precious. Live life. Don't just exist. You know, we all have two lives. Your second life will only begin when you realize you have just one life. The life expectancy of Malaysians is only 76 years. Incidentally, that's the same with the Americans. They also live only up to 17 years. 17 years is actually equivalent to 27,740 days. So you need to be very aware of how you are going to spend those 27,740 days. If you group everybody around here into two groups, you can say that one group are employees and the other group are the self-employed. Now, employees spend 42 years of their life at work. They retire at age 65. They go into retirement. It's only 11 years. By age 65, your body has started to shut down. So don't wait till 65 before you want to do anything. Start thinking about it well before you're 65. Because employees get a salary every month, they sometimes neglect to save money, to accumulate capital so that they can have a good retirement. On the other hand, if you are self-employed, people like doctors, lawyers, businessmen, and billionaires, they work until they die. Because nobody is there to tell them not to work. They carry on making more and more money that they can never ever spend. What kind of life is that? I'd like to tell those people that your money is not your money until you spend it. I used to work as a managing director for Shell Chemicals, and I was also retail director for Shell Downstream in Malaysia. But at age 53, in 1999, I decided to quit. I quit at the peak of my career because there were things I wanted to do, places I wanted to see, and I wanted to tick my bucket list before my body breaks down and I can't do it anymore. So by 1999, when I quit and started driving around the world, and I sail where I couldn't drive. I would like to share with you some of the routes that I've driven. I've driven to more than 100 countries and sailed to the Arctic, to Antarctica. I've driven from London to Malaysia twice, once on the southern route and once on the northern route. I have driven from Kuala Lumpur to India. I have driven from Istanbul to Kuala Lumpur several times. I've driven from Cape Town to Cairo, and from Cairo across the Sahara Desert to Casablanca. I have driven around South America from Buenos Aires to Buenos Aires. Yes. Where I couldn't drive, I sailed. I've sailed to Svalbard. I've sailed to Iceland. I've sailed to Greenland. I've sailed to Wrangel Island, which is the Russian polar bear sanctuary. I've sailed to Antarctica 6 times. I'm going again next month in case anybody wants to come. My interest in life is paramotoring, it's flying. I ride motorcycles. I've been to China a couple of times on my motorbike. I drive 4x4. I've written about 10, 15 books. I'm also a photographer. I've shot about 2 million pictures. Come with me. I will take you on a 60-second lightning fast tour of the world in 60 seconds. This is what it's like to sail in Antarctica and to the Arctic and to Svalbard. And sometimes the sea is very rough, sometimes it's very, very calm, but all the time it's a lot of fun. This polar bear, we watched him hunt or stalk that seal on the top right. And then he came under the ice and ate the seal alive. And on the bottom is musk ox from Svalbard, walrus. And that's the 2 ships that I use to sail to the North Pole. Bottom left is the Donnerwood, which is 100-year-old wooden sailing ship that I use to sail to Greenland. And in Greenland, at night when the sky is clear, you can see the aurora borealis. These are some wildlife from Antarctica: breaching whale, albatross, rockhopper penguins, and gentoo penguins. Did you know that there are no penguins in the North Pole and there are no polar bears in the South Pole? Penguins can only be found in Antarctica. And I love trekking, and these are some of the pictures I shot when I was trekking to the base camp, Everest Base Camp, to Kilimanjaro Base Camp, and to Mount Fitzroy in the Andes Base Camp, and also to the Annapurna Base Camp in the Himalayas. Some pictures of deserts in Africa. The picture on the bottom left is Erta Ale, the most active volcano in Africa. We had to climb it at night, and that picture was shot from the rim of the volcano looking down. And these are some of the strange customs that you can see in the rest of the world if you go out there and see it. That young lady is actually trying to coax the cow to give more milk. When the cow has a calf, it tends to restrict the flow of milk to reserve some for the calf. But they have found that if you blow into the cow's vagina and then caress the udder of the cow, it will produce more milk. It's true. I've seen it. And this lead plate, the bigger the plate is, the higher will be the dowry that this young lady will get. And these are some animals from Africa, more animals from Africa. The top right picture happens once every year in August, when 2 million wildebeest will cross the Mara River to get to the other side to follow the rains. And they get attacked by crocodiles when they do so. So, if you want an exciting second life, during the work phase of your life, you should focus on trying to create an investment portfolio that can yield a passive income flow of at least 75%. 100% better. Once you get 100%, you can stop work and not carry on working, making more and more money that you can and never ever spend. Okay? And the second thing is, once you've made your money, don't ever be reluctant to spend your children's inheritance. Your money is not your money until you spend it. It's very easy to make money if only you will focus on doing it. For example, stop drinking high-bucks coffee. You know, if you drink 2 cups of high-bucks coffee a week, you would be spending 1,768 ringgit. Okay? 1,768 ringgit. If you compound it at 20% a year for 30 years, you would get nearly 500,000 ringgit. Yeah, you can do the sums, you'll get that. So the point is, if you divide 419,000 by 104 cups of high-bucks coffee, the present value of that cup of high-bucks coffee that you drink is actually 4,035 ringgit. Yeah. So when you next drink your high-bucks coffee, lick every drop. Okay. In 1999, December of 1999, I quit. At that time, the price of Apple stocks was only 87 cents. If you had used that 1,768,000 ringgit, you could have bought 532 Apple shares. Today, because of stock splits and bonuses and all that, yesterday the Apple price was $175 US. You would have got 59,000 Apple stocks that will be worth yesterday at 50 million ringgit. So, you still want to drink your high-bucks coffee? It's the same if you were to invest that 1,768 ringgit into Amazon shares. You know, Amazon shares in December 1999 when I retired was 83 cents, and you could have got today. Yesterday, the price of Amazon was $131. You would have got 41 million ringgit. Okay? So it's not difficult to make money. You just need to focus. How many of you bought an apartment for 400,000 ringgit 15 years ago? If you had bought a shop house instead of an apartment for 400,000 ringgit, today, that shop house, if it were to be in USJ, for example, would be worth about 6 to 7 million ringgit. And the rental you can get is about 25,000. So why buy your apartment? Rent. I would like to go on from talking about economics to talking about life. In life, you pass through a number of passages corresponding to the decades of your life. I would like to talk to you about the characteristics of each passage or decade of your life so that you are aware of what they are, and when you come across them, you can then know how to handle them. Okay, the first part of your life is your adolescence. During your adolescence, you're under the protection and control of your parents. You have to ask them for permission for everything that you wanted to do. During adolescence, you become aware of the hormonal changes in your body. You become aware of an inner self that wants to do things, but you are being constrained by external constraints. What you don't realize is that your parents, your teachers, the adults around you, your priests, they're all trying to brainwash you, trying to change you and make you or turn you into a self-regulating adult, into a self-sustaining adult, so that when you are in your 20s, you get your degree, you get your first job, then you can look after yourself and hopefully you can control yourself. So in your 20s, I call it your trying 20s, you're trying the different uniforms of life. You're no longer under the control of your parents. Some go overboard, they have tattoos on their face and in places where the sun never shines. And they even do destructive addictions or dangerous sports. Yeah? Some get married, you have children, you focus on your job and so on. And then you enter what I call your turbulent 30s. Your decisions in your 20s come back to haunt you. You might be dissatisfied with your job. You might change jobs. You might get divorced. You might become a single parent if you have got kids. Yeah? Many of you will fall into debt. Mortgage, your car loan, your credit card loan and all that. And from there you go on into your 40s. I call it the fall-on 40s or the roaring 40s, depending on whether your career is going downhill or going uphill. Women during their 40s experience changes, beginning of menopause. Many of them will experience the empty nest syndrome when their children leave the home. Then you come into your resigned 50s or your refreshed 50s. In your 50s, you have peaking hormonal changes in your body. Women who gave up their jobs to become a homemaker suddenly have a self-value crisis. What am I? I've given up my life looking after my kids and now my kids are all gone. Do I have any value? Some become born-again Christians, born-again Muslims. And people who become successful in their jobs, become managing directors and all that, be aware of enmeshment. Enmeshment is when you assume the identity of your job. When you retire, if you lose your personal identity, then you're in trouble. Then you enter your serene 60s, where your testosterone is down, you're at peace with yourself and the world around you. Your mantra becomes, it is what it is. And then you enter your sage 70s, like my age, where you dispense wisdom like what I'm doing now for free. But the most painful thing about being old is you lose your loved ones. You watch your spouse die before you, sometimes even your children die before you. And for those with diseased bodies, death might well be a welcome relief. Throughout all of your life, you are always in conflict with your inner self and these external constraints. So, I want you to anticipate all these changes in your life, so that you can then prepare to face and to manage them. I will leave you with 7 takeaways. Life is short and finite. Live life, retire early. The world out there is beautiful. Make sure you go out and see it before life leaves you. In 3 stages of life, in your work stage, make enough money for retirement. And then the passage of life, 8 of them, I just spoke about it, unmeshed during your last period of life, or your career, and develop friendships outside your work area. Spend your children's inheritance. Thank you very much.